Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Kia Simone, and let's get into this episode 3 of Love and Marriage Huntsville, the stage play, because that's all this is, y'all. This is our version of my grandmama stories. That's just it. Now, of course, before we get started, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. And I gotta shout out my super thanksters. Thank you so much to Tech Mama, Yvette Greer, Tanya Fuller, Lady 6916, and Ann T. Thank y'all. I really, truly appreciate y'all. Now let's get into it. So the episode opens up in the middle of Kiki and Tisha sitting down in the middle of this staged kickboxing scene to have a conversation about their issues. Well, they're having a conversation, all right. Tisha's telling all Kiki business. So Tisha is telling Kiki how she can't believe that it would be her of all people who would try to hurt her and bring her down. She says to Kiki, you know, I want you to be honest about why you're really upset with me and try to forgive that. Kiki said it was how you pulled away. You bailed at the time that I needed you the most. And I have to admit that I was angry with you for a long time because I felt like you took my best friend from me. Tisha said, I took your best friend from you. How did I take your best friend? Kiki said, you were my best friend. Tisha said, how did I take me? She said, you have to take ownership for the place that you were in at that time, and you weren't in a good place. And I was trying to be there for you as much as I possibly could. But when your bad place started to affect me mentally, I had to protect me. Then they cut to some random point in the conversation where Kiki said, I know that when you were pregnant, y'all told me about something that happened. Tisha said, yeah, we were arguing in my front yard and you said, you and that baby? Kiki looking shocked like, who said that shit? Tisha said, now you gonna say you don't remember doing that because you always say you don't remember doing that. But I absolutely remember you doing that. That's the point at which I realized this girl needs help. And that's when I decided to help you get to rehab. Tisha said you were so violent and unhappy and you just weren't you. I had to get away from you. She said, and I was hurt too because you were coming to my house every day acting like you were coming to see me and the baby. The whole time you coming stealing my pain medicine. I said, I'll be damned. Tisha said, I had just had a C-section and you were stealing my pain medication. What in the holiday heart was going on around there? All Kiki said is, Tisha said something about they tried to take a trip together because she wanted Kiki to get better, but she wasn't getting better. And so she decided she didn't want a relationship with that person. But I said, hold on, wait a damn minute. This kind of changed the game for me a little bit. I ain't tell y'all no word of lie. I know what I said. And I know it ain't right. It ain't right to be going around telling people's personal business. And it would be one thing if she were just going around like, you know that girl on that shit. But this person was using their relationship as a family member to gain access to your home, to steal controlled substances prescribed to you to help you manage the pain that you're in following a C-section. Now you running around, open up and stitched closed with no medication and a doctor who thinks you a junkie. Given these details, had it been me, if the conversation were, oh girl, we gonna invite Kiki, I can't say I wouldn't be like, hey, I'm telling you right now, hey, lock it up. Tisha said, oh no, we gonna clear this up. You got people out here thinking I'm just telling your damn business. Oh, no. You out here pulling Pookie and New Jack City moves. I might tell the people you the Hamburglar too. I'm sorry. Kiki said in the confessional that it's very disheartening to hear the way that she made Tisha feel when she was going through what she was going through, that she was not herself at all at that time, but those are things that happened in the past that she cannot change. And prayerfully, nothing like that will happen again. It drives me nuts when people say, oh, well, it's the past. There ain't nothing I can do about it. No, what you can do about it is take accountability. That yes, I did that. And yes, that was up. I had no business standing in your front yard telling you about you and your baby. I was on some give me $10 or your mama's bullshit. And I was dead wrong. I'm sorry. That's what you can say. So at the gym, Kiki is telling Tisha, you know, I want to move forward. And Tisha is saying, well, I can't let you back in. I mean, I can't trust letting you in and you turn right around and hurt me again. So it's going to take time. And part of the reason is you haven't taken accountability for the last you did. You sitting up here, well, you know, it's the past. There's nothing I can do about it. So what am I supposed to expect, that you going to do anything different than what you already did? Tisha said, well, now that we've acknowledged everything that's happened, how do we move forward? Kiki said, going forward, I will be 100% mindful of the things that I say, especially regarding you and your marriage. She said, I do apologize for violating you, though, because when I see you breaking down and crying, it does really hurt me. And they show us the flashback of when they had the whole family gathering and they got to fighting because Kiki said she was going to expose all Tisha and Marcel's dirty little secrets. And Tisha was crying those, I want to whoop your ass, but they got these cameras in here tears. Kiki said, right here, right now, we're going to make this truce that we're never going to bring this up again. I don't think we're ever going to have this conversation again. Tisha said, okay. Tisha said, well, I am having this little girl get together. And so, I mean, if you up to it, Kiki said, I sure am, girl. I'm on TV now, girl. Tisha said, I'm just okay with taking the first step and seeing where it goes. Tisha said in the confessional that she and Kiki have been going in circles for years, so she didn't expect a whole lot of progress when they had this conversation, but this conversation made her pretty hopeful. Well, keep hope alive. So they get up to leave this scene, and Kiki said, well, let's hug it out. Tisha said, I don't know if I want to hug you. Kiki said, yes, you do. I'm irresistible, girl. Tisha said, just do what you say you're going to do, girl. We move on and see that Marcel has found his way out of the cave. He is meeting his father down at Black to share a cigar and some man talk. Let's hope his daddy can help him. Marcel let us know that his dad actually has not been to Black since they finished construction. He lives back in, I think it was Michigan, he said that they're from. And so it's a rare occurrence that he actually visits. So it's a pretty special occasion. So his dad starts out by telling him that, you know, he's proud of him. And then his dad starts to explain to him that, listen, I realize that you're very busy making a living, but I don't want you to be so busy making a living that you don't make a life. I want you to take time to spend with your family. And I said, Mr. Papa Scott, listen, I don't know if you watch the show, but your son is making a life. He just doesn't include his family. I don't know if you know. He went to Africa. Yeah, he went to Africa without his wife or his children. I don't know what in the Ancestry.com he has going on, but you might want to talk to him about that, because he's making a life. He just ain't including his family. His dad says, you know, you need to demonstrate even to your family, your loved ones, that it's not all about working and making money all the time. He said, I didn't take my first cruise until I was 50 years old. And I want you to actually enjoy some of that. Take the time to enjoy your life. Make a life more than you're making a living. And that's something that a lot of people miss. People get caught up in, this is my title, this is my salary, and I have this house and this car, and I can pay for all these things. And then you have no actual substance to your life other than a bunch of things you've accumulated. Marcel explains to his dad that what it is for him is the way he sees it in his mind is, if I get to this level and if I do this and if I get this project done, then I can stop. But what happens is he's constantly moving the goalpost on himself. So even though you might achieve whatever this goal was, now I can't stop because I've achieved that, so I have to move on to the next step without ever taking any time to actually appreciate accomplishing the last goal. And then I think that gives birth to a sort of insatiability, where you're never satisfied because you're always moving the goalpost. You're never happy when you actually achieve the goals that you set, because the goal is never actually achieving the goal. It's moving to the next goal. Marcel's dad said, what you're talking about, I used to be that way real bad. He said, I chased money for years. Every holiday I was working at General Motors. And the reason I was working at General Motors every holiday is because they paid double time. He said, but I don't want my kids to make the same mistakes with their kids that I made with mine and that my dad made with me. Marsau said, well, Dad, don't be so hard on yourself. And he said, no, it's not being hard on myself. It's being realistic. It's called identifying a generational issue or generational curse and deciding to break it. Marsau's dad said, there is a difference between being busy and being productive. When do you stop working to actually enjoy what you worked for? I said, Lord, I about shed a tear. If somebody show me the collection plate, I'll put $1 in it. His dad said, when do you ever stop? You accomplish all these things and you did this, that, and the other, but then you go home and your kids are grown and your wife's hair is getting grayer. Marsau seemed to take in what his dad was saying, and he said, I really have to figure this out. And in the confessional, he said, it's easy to say that everything is not all about money and you need to slow down or you need to stop. He said, but where he's at in terms of his goals is not about money. For him, he's at a place of pursuing his passion and his purpose in life, and he feels like this is going to create an avenue for generational wealth. Well, the thing about it is, when you create children, part of your purpose has to become being present in their life. I get that Marsau is an in-home father. I get that he is a provider, and I'm not taking away from any of that. And I also get that he's operating from an old school model that he's seen. But here his father is telling him where the flaws are in the model. I'm telling you where you need to make some changes, because I'm telling you on the other side of exactly where you're at, what the outcome is going to be. I get that Marsau pays bills and he's in the home and, he meets the needs of the children, but is that enough when you live a whole separate life? I mean, when we met Marsau in the first season, he didn't know his own child's food allergies. And a couple seasons later, he's going to Wakanda without his damn family. So, I mean, you live a whole separate life from these people. It's like we just share a home and I pay the bills in it. And somehow Marsau talked himself all the way from, I got to think about this and figure this out, right back around to this doesn't change my mind about success and me wanting to work. And his daddy said, well, God himself took a day to rest, but my son, the great, is just going to work harder than God. Will you get down with your bad self? Marsau said, I got it now. Okay, all right, you made your point. I got it. So we move on and we see Tisha is sitting at some random cowboy coffee shop with her computer working. She's met by Kimmy, and Kimmy asked her, why is we here? She said, well, Marsau has a new business partner down at the Sculpt, and he took my office. Girl, what? Kimmy said, hold on. So you telling me that Marsau has a new business partner? Tisha said, yeah. She said, and your office is now his office? She said, yeah, pretty much. Kimmy said, I know you lying. She said, no, his degree is up on the wall, and Marsau wouldn't even let me hang my degree. He told me I couldn't put my degree on the wall, but this man's degree up on the wall. I said, ooh, not your husband is jealous, insecure, and misogynistic. Cause why in the hell can this man have his piece of paper on the wall, but your whole wife cannot? Kimmy is in shock. Tisha said, yeah, I stopped by the office the other day. I'm looking over blueprints for Scott Manor, and he just comes out of nowhere and said, oh yeah, Gino is a part of Sculpt now. And I'm just like, well, when that happened? Tisha said, I mean, I knew they were going to be partnering on some projects together, but I didn't know he was coming on as an employee of Sculpt. Kimmy said, I mean, well, were you mad? She said, yeah. Kimmy saw an opportunity. Kimmy said, well, it sounds like you're going to need to come rent an office down in our building. No, she need to rent Diary of a Mad Black Woman, because what in the Tyler Perry hell was going on here? What you mean? You just showed up to the office and this man in your... What? Tisha told Kimmy he is renovating the end building for me. Girl, he's also building you a house up the mountain and at the end of the rainbow. Kimmy said, well, what you gonna do in the meantime? Like, how you plan to work? She said, I'm just gonna be rotating. I guess Starbucks will be seeing you. I mean, just what kind of multi-million-dollar company is being run from the public library? Help me understand. Kimmy said, well, how long do you think it's going to be before you get into this new office? Tisha said, well, I'm putting some fire under Marsau. Girl, put some fire under you and go to hell. You putting some fire under Marsau. Y'all been talking about a house that you barely got blueprints for half a decade, and you think He's gonna get you out the Starbucks parking lot anytime soon? Hell, he didn't tell you he was putting you out the office, and that's too damn close to putting me out my house for me. I'm just gonna show up to work and it's a whole man sitting in my office. I mean, what you gonna tell me next? I'm gonna show up to the house and it's gonna be somebody sitting in the bed and I'm supposed to rotate hotels till you build me something else? Hell no. You need to rotate your backbone and stand up straight. What? Kimmy said, you know those Scott men need more than fire. They need fire and brimstone. Sounds like hell to me. Tisha said, well, I will say, I always say that I've been married the longest. We know, Tisha. Please stop bragging, especially under these conditions. She said, but Kimmy came in and she knows how to get things done with these Scott guys. Kimmy said, well, me and Maurice don't always agree. She said, y'all just don't see the process of disagreement. What y'all see is once we've come to whatever agreement we gonna come to, that's when we come to the public. After we come to our agreement. Kimmy said, well, it took a long time for us to get to the place where we could agree to disagree or we could find the middle. But when you're having the conversation, basically you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. She said the way that you couple your words can make things easier to swallow. She said, so I typically like to couple my words with, in my opinion, or the way I see it, rather than that's stupid or that's wrong or that doesn't make any sense. Kimmy said, so the way that you say things and when you say things, timing is important. She said, maybe you could say what you need to say after a session. I said, well, why after he done got what he want? And I think she thought about that too. She said, I mean, you could say what you need to say before a session. Tisha said in the confessional that Kimmy does know what it's like being married to a Scott man. And she's happy that she and Kimmy have a good relationship so that they can talk about these things. She said, and learning to say things in a better way and work on her timing is something that she's working on right now. Well, good luck. I don't think it's never a right time to say nothing to that damn caveman. So suddenly as they're talking, Kimmy's phone starts to ring and what do you know? It's Mel. What a coincidence. So Mel called Kimmy and she's asking her how she's doing. How are you feeling? Are you okay? She said, yeah, I'm good. She said, well, I know you're going through your process and stuff. And I was just wondering if you can get massages. And she said, well, yeah, most of the time I can. Yeah. But I mean, I might need to catch up with you because quite honestly, at the moment, I'm with Tisha. And Tisha said, can I talk to her for just a moment? And Kimmy looks shocked. You want to talk to Mel? So she hands the phone over to Tisha and Tisha says, hi, Mel. So Kimmy and I are sitting and having coffee and I'm having a hello? Can you hear me? Mel said, yes, I'm here. She said, I'm having a gathering of all the girls and I would just love if you can make it. Mel said, oh, okay, well, we'll just have Kimmy send me the information. So Tisha hands the phone back to Kimmy and Mel says, so anyway, so you said you can't get massages. Kimmy said, I mean, well, oh yeah. She said, okay, because I just wanted to plan something and I just wanted to check. So that's what's up. So Kimmy gets off the phone with Mel and Tisha said, that's just crazy how that happened. Girl, y'all. Tisha said, that's actually why I brought you here. You know, I had already reached out to most of the ladies because I was thinking that we as wives and business women, especially with everything you're going through, we could get together and have some kind of celebration because she will not be outdone. I don't know who Mel thinks she playing with. Oh, you think you gonna throw a celebration for my sister-in-law? Oh no, baby, I got this. So everybody's pretending to be so shocked that this whole encounter and exchange just happened. And I need y'all to get a better script. Nonetheless, Kimmy said she'd be happy to come to whatever event Tisha is having. She said she's feeling the best she's felt in months, and so she's excited to be included. Please don't leave me out. No more of this bullshit y'all got going on. So no sooner than I finished talking about Marcel not being as present as he should be at home, we move on to Tisha and Marcel's house where he is being an active hands-on father. Look at him. He's playing chess with the kids. The kids look stressed out, like, why is you in our face? And he said in the confessional, because he really thought about the conversation he had with his dad and he wants to spend some time with his family. He realizes that he's a really lucky guy. And Tisha in the confessional say, yeah, all that's real nice. And it's real nice to have, you know, a whole family night at home. Yeah, this is real cute for these cameras. But I'm thinking about the conversation I had with Kimmy. And I'm thinking about the right time and place and couple of words to say to Marcel about him putting me out my office. So they sit down at the table for dinner and Tisha's asking how the little chess game was going and the baby girl said to be continued. I'm gonna finish dragging my daddy on that board in just a minute. Marcel decides that good conversation with dinner would be asking the kids, do y'all miss mom cooking every day? His son looked up like, you talking about my mama? Baby girl looked around like, ooh, it's about to get spicy in here. This man said, well, guys, she can't do more cooking right now. She's doing something more important than cooking for y'all, working. Tisha is shocked. Tisha, are you serious right now? He said, yeah, she'd rather work than cook for you guys. The oldest daughter said, well, what about you, mister? Baby girl followed her big sister. She said, yeah, what about you, dad? Their son said, I would never let my spouse talk to me like that, especially after 17 long years. You ain't gonna keep talking to his mama all kind of way. In the confessional, Marsau told Tisha, I can't believe MJ is taking your side. Tisha said, that's my son. A boy and his mama, that bond, that's something else. And when he was getting up from the table, going to his room, he looked like, I don't even want to dap you up. You better watch how you talk to my mama, player. Them kids about ready to vote you out the family. You keep on. Tisha said, don't do that. Why would you try to shade me to our kids about not cooking? Marsau said, they know I was joking. No, they don't. They know you funny, but they know you mean that bullshit. Tisha said, no, seriously, it's difficult to find a balance, but you don't understand because you're not a woman. He said, I don't think it's fair for you to say that I don't understand what your experience is as a woman, because if I say that you don't understand what I go through as a man, then you're going to say that that's not fair. I said, here we go with the battle of the sexes. I can't. Tisha said, I might not, and that's fine. Marsau said, no, ain't no might to it. Well, bruh, you just proved her point. What are you talking about? She said, you don't understand what I go through as a woman. And you said, well, you can't say that because you gonna say, I can't say you don't understand what I go through as a man. She said, well, I might not understand what you go through as a man. No, you don't understand what I go through as a man. What? So it's impossible for you to not understand her struggle with balance as a woman, a mother, a wife, and a business person. But it's just a definite that she don't understand what you go through as a man. So he starts explaining to her his struggle as a man, that the idea of providing and protecting is something that hangs on you like gravity. It does not go away. It shapes your entire world. And that he had this conversation with his dad, and his dad was asking, when is your day off? He said, you know, I told my dad I don't have one. Tisha said, because ain't that the conversation she's been trying to have with you for years? He says, so I don't want you to think that I don't understand what you're going through or what you experience. He said, I think I have a good grasp on the challenges. Tisha said, I mean, I don't think that. What it is more for me is I'm still trying to figure out my role in your businesses. I said, well, didn't you just tell us you've been lying? Because how you go from I took us from the negative to being a multi-million-dollar corporation to what's my role in your businesses? So it ain't even your business no more. It's his businesses, and you don't even know where you stand in them. So Tisha basically explains to Marsau that she understood that he was going to be doing some business partnerships, but she didn't understand that he was going to be taking this particular person on as an employee of the company. And though she is 85% owner of the company, Marsau still runs all the day-to-day operations and transactions. She said, when you're making these decisions, I still want to make sure that you're running these decisions by me. He says, so you're saying that as the owner of the company, you want to be included in all the hiring and firing decisions? Tisha said, yeah. Nobody should come to me with information about the company that I don't know ahead of time. And he said, well, I disagree. What? Tisha said, well, why do you disagree? Marsau said, because you're the owner of the company. And in a proper corporation setting, there's a separation of the owner of the company and the daily operations of that company. Now, I'm the role of the president. You're the role of the owner. Play your position. Let me tell you what's basically going on. Marsau is reminding her that the company is only in your name for the sake of bidding for minority contracts. Tisha as a black female is a double minority, whereas Marsau as a black male is a singular minority. This ain't really your company. We just did this so that when we go to bid for certain contracts that have priority for minority-owned businesses, you'll be at the top of the list. That's all. Now stop playing in front of these cameras like this really your business, like we really involve you in this. That's pretty much what he's trying to say. Tisha said, play your position. Wow. And Marsau starts trying to give this example about being the owner of a sports team and how the owner can't do what the players can do, but the owner is not worried about the players because the players is out there throwing the balls. Look here. You think the owner is not involved and what players are coming to and going from his team? You think the owner ain't got nothing to do with that? And you ain't nowhere near a sports organization. So with a company this size, I would think, especially if everything is in my damn name, I'm going to be informed about who's coming and going, especially through our payroll. Tisha said in the confessional, if I'm the owner of the company, I own the building, the desk, the everything. So how do I get put out of my office? Make that make sense. Well, you're going to have to make the paperwork make sense. Because if everything is in your name, if this is truly your business, you are the owner and operator, how are you getting evicted from your own office that you own? Like, girl, what in the squatter's rights is going on? Tisha said if it wasn't for me, Scolt wouldn't be where it is. Well, you might need to get a CPA and an attorney and remind him. Tisha says, so you basically saying I shouldn't be involved in all the things that go on and all the operations that happen under my name. I should just collect my money and keep going. He said, yeah, essentially, you go to jail playing with him if you want to. That's just how people end up in jail and bankruptcy and all kind of other stuff, thinking that this person is handling everything. All kind of stuff is in your name. He telling you he got it handled. Next thing you know, all your money is in an account across town with some lady named Susan on it. You let him Rocky and Tasha you if you want to. So Marsau decides he's going to provide another example to deflect from any accountability for not including his wife and the operations of their business that he done convinced her to put in her name. So he said in the case of him and this new employee that Gino has far more experience than him while he has far more credentials than Gino. So basically he got the licenses, but Gino know what the hell he's doing. So he said it would be crazy for me to go into the office and I'm the owner, do it like this, don't do it like that because I'm the owner. He said because at the end of the day, no matter what my level of ownership is, he knows what he's doing because he has more experience than me. Well, that's not quite the equivalent example because she's not asking to tell you what to do. She's asking you to include her on what's done. If I can be involved enough in the business for everything to be in my name, we filing taxes on this multi-million-dollar business in my name, you can tell me when you hire Gino from up the street. Tisha said, okay, but what happens in the event that, yeah, he has more experience than you, but he still has an idea that he thinks is better than yours? Marsau said, well, as a leader, it's my obligation to communicate. Tisha said, exactly, B. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why the communication between us is going to be extremely important. She said, for example, you said you told me about moving this man in and hiring him and all that, but you ain't tell me all that. What we did talk about is building Scott Realty, but you didn't tell me, oh, we got that idea today and you need to be out by tomorrow. That's not how this was supposed to go. Marsau said, but is that what happened? Tisha said, well, that's how it felt for me. He said, but is that what happened? Well, could somebody tell us what happened? Because that's what it looked like. So he's, well, why didn't you ask? This isn't communication. She said, but I'm trying to communicate with you right now. So Marsau starts listing all these projects that they have going on that, I'm sorry, I just had all these things on my plate. So I'm sorry, it just slipped my mind to include you in the decisions of our business. And all those projects are also all the reasons you're going to be in Starbucks parking lot till the 31st of February. So Tisha's in the confessional saying that Scott Realty is her new business venture, but she knows that Marsau knows that it takes time to build up a new business. So he can't just kick her out of her office onto the street. She said, how am I supposed to build a new business with you sabotaging me because you absolutely stole my office? He said, I stole. Tisha said, I just want you to understand and acknowledge my feelings. Marsau said, well, I listen to logic. You want to be effective with me? Come in, sit down, and prove your point. In other words, kill feelings. Tisha said, well, here's the point. The point is that was my space. And how would you feel if it was done to you? If you come in and you see somebody sitting in your chair and a degree on the wall. And Marsau said, well, quite frankly, there wasn't a whole lot of commerce happening from that space anyway. So Marsau is the face of when your spouse is your biggest hater. So we move on and we get to Tisha's girls event, and all the ladies get there. We see Kimmy and then Stormy, followed by Tiffany, who is fully pregnant. Tisha said overall she's pretty hopeful about the night going well, but she is concerned about Tiffany being there because she recently found out that Tiffany don't see it for Kiki because she thinks Kiki is absolutely messy for shitting on her own cousin. And if she was on her own cousin, she would absolutely do it to her, and I agree. So Tisha has some custom embroidered robes for all the ladies. They're changing into their robes and Kiki arrives. So Stormy is taking notice of how much Kiki and Tisha look alike. She's like, y'all really, really look alike. That's some crazy shit. Kiki said, that's a compliment for you, honey. Is this karma or is this y'all's family weight? Tiffany said, ooh, she said it's a compliment that you get to look like her. Kiki said, I mean, it is. Who else in the world you want to look like? Don't fake it because they here tell the truth. Tiffany said, is she older than you? Tisha said, she act like it. All this time, I thought Kiki was the big cousin. Tisha said, that's why we used to fight all the time because she got a smart mouth. Kiki said, no, I am smart, so I just say the best things. So out of nowhere, Tiffany takes one of the fuzzy socks that they gave them to put on and puts it on her hand. She said, if I put this on my hand, does this make this a puppet? Tisha got pissed off. Tisha said, I'm going to mail you your puppet. Tiffany said, oh, for the baby? She said, no, I'm going to mail you one that looks like you. I said, why is you mad? Tiffany said, I mean, that's fine. That's for kids. You act like a kid, you get puppets. Tisha said, well, you about to get kicked out of here. I said, well, that escalated quickly. What just happened? So Kenny says in the confessional, you know Tiffany always with that bullshit. She always starting with somebody. And today is Tisha with the puppets. Now, you know, I always think Tiffany is starting some shit. But this particular time, I didn't understand the level of reaction. I mean, I get it was a messy moment, but they are sitting here talking to each other in front of everybody. I honestly didn't even take the moment as Tiffany trying to be messy. I thought she might have been trying to lighten the mood, honestly. They all laughed at the whole puppet thing at the reunion. It broke the ice at the reunion. It was like, girl, you out your damn mind. And now I'm about to put you out. Is you out your mind? So you can do this stuff on the whole reunion. We just can't talk about it. Like, they all getting on my nerves with this whole prima donna. I want you to watch me and admire me, but y'all better not ask me any questions about my antics bullshit. Kimmy went on to say in the confessional that, like, really, I'm just glad that Mel wasn't here because after the way that things went down at the reunion, she probably wasn't going to laugh that off. What? Why are y'all living in sheer terror of Mel's bad mood? Just then, Mel walks in. Tisha greets her with a glass of champagne and says, I'm happy you made it. So Mel is in the confessional saying that she's happy that she was invited. She's happy she was able to attend, but she is just getting over a cold, so she barely has a voice. So don't mind her if she ain't talking to these. But she is really excited to be here. So the ladies finally split up into groups of 3 to go get their spa services. We have Stormy, Mel, and Tiffany going into one room, and we have Kiki, Kimmy, and Tisha going into another. Well, they're supposed to be getting massages, and they got laser tag machines on their face and all kinds of stuff. But what's their sport of choice? Gossip. Tisha said, I mean, this is supposed to be relaxing, but I ain't been able to relax yet because Tiffany with her bullshit. Tisha said it felt like she was being shady. Kimmy said she probably was. You know Tiffany, she good for a shady comment. And just then they cut over to Tiffany getting paid to do what she would do for free, stir up some shit. She's talking to Mel, telling her how she's so happy she was able to make it. And she was excited about meeting Kiki, who she had never had a chance to meet. All she knew about her was that she was Mel's friend. Tiffany said, you know, I like being around good people like us. Mel said, she's a good person. Are you talking about from the Christmas party? Tiffany said, well, I just don't like to surround myself with people like that because if you do it to your family, you'll probably do it to me too. I mean, because you like to surround yourself with positive people, right? And I mean, to you're saying she's positive because you brought that message around and you said you only like positive people in your circle. So this is what you call positive? Tiffany says she done figured out she been got put out the circle of trust, so she just gonna go ahead and kick her bullshit. Mel said, I'm saying to me, I'm enjoying the peace in this room and the colors. Stormy and Tiffany are looking at each other like enjoying taking in the little aroma thing over there. Tiffany said, was that deflection? She said, no, it's just an honest answer. Tiffany didn't give a damn. She carried on with her bullshit. She said, well, you know, I was just trying to understand because I've gotten a chance to get to know everyone else, but I have not gotten to know her. And it just was concerning to me that she was disrespectful in any capacity to her family. She said, I saw Tisha crying real tears. And Mel just sat there with her eyes closed like she is just invisible girl. Stormy said in the confessional, Tiffany is trying to have a conversation with Mel and clearly she's not here for it. And rather than her just say, girl, I really don't want to have this conversation, she's talking about it's so beautiful. I love the colors. It's so peaceful. Let me tell you something. That would have been the last time she played in my face because that was absolutely condescending. Just say, I don't want to have that conversation. So then we move on to the next forced conversation, which is Kimmy, Kiki, and Tisha. And let me tell you, because this is so contrived, these conversations are hard to even follow or stay interested in. Like, So Kimmy starts out by asking Kiki about the state of her and Tisha, and they were talking about the fact that they've decided to try to work on their relationship and that's all they can do. Kimmy is explaining that she doesn't understand how adults end up in these big blowout disagreements because there's always the option to agree to disagree, but for some reason nobody ever takes that option. They just take the blow. And next thing you know, Kiki is talking to Kimmy about, you and I have never had a relationship that's anywhere near the magnitude of your relationship with Tisha, but I thought that we did have enough of a relationship to say that we care for each other. And she said that she was offended by Kimmy bringing back to Tisha things that she said at the Christmas party. What? She felt like by Kimmy bringing back to Tisha what she was over at the party saying by Tisha and her man, Kimmy was instigating a problem rather than patching it up. Girl, Kimmy said, you don't think you instigated it by showing up at Mel's party? She said, no, I don't. Tisha said, well, why are you bringing it up again? Why are you bringing this up now? Because, girl, I need to be on TV, okay? That's why. She said, because I haven't had a chance to have this conversation with Kimmy. Tisha said, no, I really don't feel like she instigated it. I feel like she was as surprised as everybody else. She was like, girl, I don't know what the state of you and Kiki's relationship is, but she had a whole lot of stuff to say about you. Kimmy said, and I'm not the only person who had that to say. So if everybody felt like you were talking about your cousin, everybody is wrong but you? Kiki said, yes. I said, I know this got to be some edited bullshit. You can't be this crazy on TV. This right here is why Tisha don't trust you. This right here is why she said, stay over there. Stay your ass over there. She said, yeah, she feel like everybody's wrong but her because she feel like everybody exaggerated the situation. Kimmy said, that's fair. I can't argue with it. You crazy. Yeah, you out your natural mind and I refuse to argue with your insanity. Have it. Kiki said, the only thing I said is that she and I were not in a good place. Tisha said, but how did that come up? Why were you telling the people that you and I were not in a good place? Why? Tisha said that wasn't the place to bring that up. She said, I can agree with that. I can agree that that may be true. But the reason it came up is because Stormy was talking. And that's another thing I didn't understand. Girl, what? Where all of a sudden did this shift to Stormy is the reason you were at Mel's house knowing Mel is the ops to your cousin, telling everything you believe to be your cousin's business. She said, so it got back what I said, but nobody talked about what Stormy said. Stormy ain't her cousin. Stormy ain't at her family reunions, you jackass. Stormy wasn't in her medicine cabinet stealing all her pain medicine. Stormy wasn't at the house holding her baby and shit. That's not her family. So they played the clip of Stormy saying how she felt like Marsau posting the picture that proved that Maurice was with the guys was a deflection because everybody talks about Marsau being a cheater. Nobody talks about Maurice being a cheater. And she felt like Marsau did that to get the heat up off of him. Okay. That is a speculation. What you gave was an insinuation that there has been infidelity that you have some level of awareness of in Tisha's marriage. So Kimmy asked the question. Kimmy said, Tisha, when I came and told you what happened, did I tell you what Stormy said? Tisha sat there and looked around for a minute. Tisha said, honestly, I don't remember. I ain't gonna tell you no word to lie. Now, you probably did, but the truth is, all I really remember is the part pertaining to what Kiki was saying about me and my marriage. I mean, and that makes sense. Like, you are telling me that my cousin was at my op's house telling my op all my damn potential business. Girl, I ain't worried about none of them other heifers. What was this saying? Because I'm going to go to her mama's house and I'm going to whoop her ass. So Kimmy is saying, yeah, I did tell you about Stormy because that was my first encounter with Stormy. I didn't know Stormy that well. And so I was telling you all about it. And they keep saying, Stormy, Stormy, Stormy. And next thing you know, the camera cuts to the other room with Tiffany and Mel and Stormy. And they're all, oh, come on, let's go. We just heard the key word. So they're supposed to be pretending that they've heard this conversation through the wall and they keep hearing Stormy's name. And so they're going to see what they're talking about. Ain't nothing happened but a damn producer done gone in there, getting their cue, told them, come on, it's time to go. And as Stormy, Mel, and Tiffany are entering the room, they sit down and Kimmy asks them, did y'all enjoy your treatment? And Stormy said, yeah, but tell me more about Stormy. Tell me all about Stormy. This don't make no damn sense. I don't know if it's the writing, the acting, the what the hell is going on, but this is not a show. I can't. So Kiki said, well, we were really discussing what happened at Melody's house. And, you know, I was planning on relaxing tonight, but just forget it. We just gonna go ahead and discuss this, girl, because this is just your moment, right? I wouldn't let nobody harass me for months on end about the same event. I just can't. So Kiki starts, there were things that got back to Tisha that I felt like were blown up and were complete misconceptions. Like, Tiffany, I heard that you insinuated that you didn't like the things that I had to say about Tisha. I said, now how we get to Tiffany when Stormy was just saying, tell me about Stormy? Wasn't y'all talking about Stormy? Tiffany said, well, yeah, I saw y'all have a conversation at a real event. I saw her cry real tears. And for as many times as you have claimed to be Mel's friend, you should have been claiming to be her cousin, period, because you're family first. Kiki said, well, I don't feel like it's fair for you to make that statement because, first of all, you don't know what you're talking about. Tiffany said, no, I always know what I'm talking about. Now you had me up to there. Now that's where you lost me. She said, friendships come and go, but family is family. You're family first. Tiffany said, and maybe I feel differently about it because I didn't grow up with a lot of family. I didn't have a lot of cousins and siblings. Kiki said, yeah, so maybe you don't understand. What? Maybe you don't understand why I treat my cousin the way I do. Maybe you don't understand why I curse her and her unborn out and then go to her house and steal her medication and then go to her op's house and try to drag her all over TV. Maybe you don't understand. And the episode comes to an end with Tiffany saying, absolutely not. No, I do not understand. And it looks like next week, Maurice is going to be asking Martell, how is his pursuit of happiness going? You were chasing Mel the last time I saw you, and I want to know how that's working out in terms of you and Sheree. And Martell want to know what the hell Sheree got to do with anything. And it also looks like next week, Marceau is going to be confiding in his new business partner about all of his secret business desires that Tisha knows nothing about. Now, I don't know who in the Eric Mays he got sitting in this damn office, but this about to be some bullshit. Kimmy is gonna bring Tisha and Mel together to see if they can move forward, and then they gonna bring this comeback meeting back from hell. Like, just, we don't want it. But that's it, that's all, and I ain't got no more. Thank you so much for coming down here, listening to me, and letting me get this off my chest. Please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. And in the meantime, until next time, just like every time, I love you and I mean it. Bye.